Happy Christmas Eve, everybody. I am David Butler.
I'm Emily Freeman.
We are so excited that y'all are here. This is day 7 of our week-long Christ-centered Christmas celebration. We've done 1 through 6, all the different people in the Nativity. It's been such a fantastic week.
And today we get to talk about Jesus.
Little baby Jesus. We're so excited.
It's going to be so good.
So glad y'all are here.
We want to start out today with a story, one of my favorite memories of my kids growing up. When Caleb was 3, we were getting ready for Christmas. And what we didn't have for Christmas decorations was a nativity scene. And I wanted one so bad, but we just did not have enough money. And then I got this rare opportunity to do this job for 4 afternoons in December. And it would make just enough money that I could actually purchase this little tiny nativity set. And Greg and I decided that would be fine. It was like the nicest Christmas decoration that we had. And I can remember coming home that day with it and setting it up and setting out all the people just like they were supposed to be. This was a lot of years ago. So the figurines, those of you who are my age are gonna know, were the little precious moments people. All white, glass. They were little kids, which I loved because my kids were so little. I got it all set out and I stopped to look at it several times a day. Well, Caleb was 3 and it was just at his level. And so I brought him over once it was all set out and I stood him right in front of it and I said to him, "This is Mom's nativity. It's so fragile. We don't touch it. We just look at it with our eyes." And he nodded his head that he knew that was right and went on with his day, and everything was good all that day. The next morning we woke up and we kind of had a routine in our house. I would dress Caleb, he would go downstairs. I left out a little cup of Cheerios. He would go down, turn on the TV. It was all ready for him to watch a show. I had a half hour to get ready. And then I would follow behind him. And on my way down the stairs, I did what you always do when you've just purchased something new. The very first thing I looked at was my nativity. Everyone was piled on top of each other. The whole nativity was just like in a jumble. I was so worried. I got it all out. I put everybody back the way they were supposed to be. And then I went down and got Caleb. And I brought him up and I stood him in front of the nativity. And I said to him, "This is fragile. We don't touch it with our hands. We just look at it with our eyes." And he nodded his head to me. He knew what I was talking about. And I said to him, "If you want to look at it, you have to put your hands in your pockets while you look at it." And he nodded his head and it was fine for the rest of the day, the whole day.
Bossy.
Fine.
So bossy.
Then the next morning, same thing. Woke up Caleb, went and got his Cheerios, started his show. I got ready, came down the stairs, looked over. Disaster. I didn't even go check on people. I just went down and got Caleb and I brought him up and I stood him right in front of the nativity. And I said to him, "Did you touch this?" And he nodded his head, yes. And I said to him, "Did you know you're not supposed to touch it?" And he nodded his head, yes, that he did. And so I said to him, "Then why did you touch it?" And I'll never forget, he just looked up at me and he had the cutest big blue eyes and these chubby little 3-year-old fingers. And he said to me, "Because they can't see the baby." And I looked down and I realized he had taken all those pieces and he had put them all head down on the baby. Everybody had a bird's eye view of the baby. And so we stood there together, both of us, right next to each other. And I carefully put all of those people back. But instead of putting them the way you always do in a responsible nativity, I put everybody in a circle, shoulder to shoulder, all the way around so everybody could see the baby the same. I still have that nativity. It's one of my favorite ones. And every year when I set it up, I set everybody up in the circle because what I want to remember is how important it is for us to see the baby.
There are a lot of traditions we've talked about this week, and there are a lot of things that your family does already, and a lot of celebrations at Christmas time, and we really should. We should rejoice, we should party, we should give gifts, we should sing, and all those things. But we just need to make sure that we don't miss the baby. That is how Christmas began. It began with God's greatest gift that came to the world wrapped up in swaddling clothes. You remember the angel said, "For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord." And that is God's greatest gift to the world. And that great gift of love from God prompted a gifting and a giving in return. The innkeeper made room, and Joseph acted with kindness, And Mary pondered in her heart. The angels rejoiced, and the shepherds shared the good news with haste, and the wise men journeyed another way. And the question is, at this special time of year, what will you do because of that great gift?
When you are done talking about the lesson of the Christ child, we invite you to take that last figure of the Christ child and place it into the nativity scene, just as a reminder of where your focus is going to be starting today and from this year forward.
And this is the invitation for day number 7. And it is to give the gift of your heart to him, especially after you've realized that he gave the gift of his heart to us.
The Christ child reminds us to offer a gift to the Lord this Christmas season, a gift based on the true work of Christmas, one that will allow us to focus on Christ all year long. We love a poem by a man named Howard Thurman. He says this: "When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and the princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among brothers, to make music in the heart." We love this idea of this work of Christmas, that Christmas actually began when the shepherds went home and when the star was gone and when the angels went back up into the heavens. That's when the work of Christmas begins, and it's going to go forward throughout this whole year. So this is the tradition. Get a card for every member of your family, and then take sometime today or tomorrow to sit down and think about what is the gift you want to give to Jesus Christ this year. My mother-in-law started this tradition many years ago, and on that first Christmas, we all wrote in our cards, we sealed them in the envelope, and she kept them at her house, and she was going to get them out the next year. And then the next year when it was Christmas, we did all of Christmas, and at the very end, all of a sudden she remembered about the Jesus gift tradition, and she had forgotten to buy cards. And she was so worried about it. She ran in the back room. She got the cards from the last year. She wanted us to all be able to read the gift that we had said we were going to give, and she was just devastated that we weren't going to be able to do it again. And then we were like, wait, why don't we just write our gift for the next year under our gift from last year? So we dated the last year, and then we wrote our gift for this year. Well, we've been doing that for probably 10 years now. And every year she gets the cards back out, and we go through and read. And I look back at the gifts we have given to Jesus over the past 10 years, and they are so tender. And as I look back at those gifts, I see how our family has been strengthened through that sacrifice and that dedication, but also through that gifting that you talked about as we turn our hearts to him and we let the work of Christmas begin.
This is such a beautiful time of year to remember how good God has been to us, and to just try in some small way to return our love to him because of how much he's shown toward us. This has been such a fantastic week together. We're so excited, and we just want to wish you a Merry, Merry Christmas and hope that the Spirit of Christ fills your home and heart today and throughout the rest of the year. Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.